Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 29. So, Aho anatmyam mahadasya pashyata
अनात्म्यं महदस्य
महदस्य पश्यतः
prajapateryasya characharam prajaha
प्रजापति
प्रजापतेर्यस्य
चराचरं
प्रजा
प्रजा
jahavasurya vimattatmajasati
जहावसूर्यमता सति
manasvinimanam abhikshanam arhati
मनस्विनी
अर्हति.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It was astonishing that Daksh, who was Prajapati, the maintainer of all living entities, was so disrespectful to his own daughter Sati, who was not only chaste, but was also a great soul, that she gave up her body because of his neglect. Imagine somebody says that I'm giving my body up because of you. I mean, how would we feel, Or that this person does not want to have any relationship with me, and because of me, she wants to give up her body. But this is what's happening to Daksh. The word anatmya is significant. Atmya means the life of the soul. So this word indicates that although Daksh appeared to be living, actually he was a dead body. Otherwise, how could he neglect Sati, who was his own daughter? So means so hard-hearted. So he's being called as dead. That he was not able to have any empathy for his own daughter. He was so puffed up in his own envy, in his own self, that he could not understand the feelings of his own daughter. It was the duty of Daksh to look after the maintenance and comforts of all living entities, because he was situated as Prajapati, the governor of all living entities. So we can see, if we get any title, if we get any position, then it's not that we have to get puffed up with that position, but in fact, we have to serve everyone according to that position. Here, Daksh, because he's a Prajapati, means he's supposed to take care of all the living entities. But instead of doing that, he's just getting puffed up of his position, and thereby he's becoming envious. Therefore, how is it that he neglected his own daughter, who was the most exalted and chaste woman, a great soul, and who therefore deserved the most respectful treatment from her father? So Sati, she is a living entity under the care of the Prajapati, so he should have taken care of her. Another, that she's a very chaste woman, so he should have taken care of her. Another, she's his own daughter, so he should have taken care of her. The death of Sati, because of her being neglected by Daksha father, was most astonishing to all the great demigods of the universe. So he is in such an important position where he is supposed to take care of everyone. Here, his own daughter is giving up her body because she wants nothing to do with him. And it's not that he's associating with demons and that he's a demon and all that. No, he's associating with all demigods and all the best of the people. His association is really great. We see any sacrifice that he's holding, there's such exalted personalities coming there. So we can see that how we may get puffed up with the position that we get. But whereas the position that we get is meant for service. But we may forget that. Soyam durmarsha hridayo brahmadrupcha
सोऽयं दुर्मया हृदय ब्रह्म
loke pakirtim mahatim avapshyati.
लोके
लोके
अपकीर्तिं
अपकीर्तिं महतीं
महतीम्
अवाप्स्यति
वाप्स्यति
Yad angajam swam purushodvid udyatam.
यदङ्गजां
यदङ्गजां
स्वां
स्वां
पुरुषद्वेष उद्यताम्
पुरुषद्विदुद्यताम्
Na pratyashedhan mritaye paradhataha.
न
न
प्रत्यषेधत् मृतये
अपराधतः
अपराधतः
Daksh, who is so hard-hearted that he is unworthy to be a Brahmana, will gain extensive ill fame because of his offense to his daughter, because of not having prevented her death, and because of his great envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Daksh is described here as most hard-hearted and therefore unqualified to be a Brahmana. So, quality of a Brahmana, that Brahmana is well-wisher of everyone. He's very soft-hearted. But here, Daksh is being hard-hearted. So then he's being called that he's not qualified to be a Brahmana. It's not that because we are born in the family of a Brahmana, we will be called. No, it depends on our qualification. So Brahmadruk is described by some commentators to mean Brahma Bandhu or friend of the Brahmanas. Now, who is a Brahma Bandhu? A person who is born in a Brahmana family but has no Brahmanical qualifications is called a Brahma Bandhu. So one may be born in the family of a Brahmana, but because he or she has not qualified himself as a Brahmana, has not cultivated the Brahmanical qualities, then he or she will be called a Brahma Bandhu, not a Brahmana. Krishna lists out the qualities of the Brahmana in the Bhagavad Gita. He lists out what are the divine qualities, what are the qualities of the Brahmanas. So Brahmanas are generally very soft-hearted and forbearing because they have the power to control the senses and the mind. So we can see here, because when we don't control our senses and mind, what happens? We get into the control of the senses and the mind, and that's why our heart becomes hard. You know, our lust, our desire, our anger, everything increases. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that by contemplating on the objects of the senses, attachment develops, from attachment, lust, from lust, anger, from anger, illusion. So he says, from the beginning, you curb this lust, you control the mind and senses. So, same here. So, the Brahmanas, they're controlling the mind and the senses. And so, that's the reason they have this Brahmanical qualities.
So Brahmadruk and Brahma Bandhu is the same,
Yes.
is it?
Yes.
The same meaning, huh?
Yes. Brahmadruk is described by some commentators to mean Brahma Bandhu. Yeah. So some
Yes.
people call Brahma Bandhu, some people call Brahmadruk.
So like you're born in a Brahmana family, but you don't have the qualifications.
Yeah. Means
Correct?
we do not have, as Krishna, he lists out so many qualities of the Brahmanas. And if we don't have those qualities, then, and born in a Brahmana family, then will be called Brahma Bandhu. Like Ashwathama was called Brahma Bandhu. He was the son of a great Brahmin.
Dronacharya. Right.
Yeah. So he was called Brahma Bandhu.
Okay.
So Daksh, however, was not forbearing for the simple reason that his son-in-law, Lord Shiva, did not stand up to show him the formality of respect. He became so angry and hard-hearted that he tolerated even the death of his dearest daughter. Just imagine, he was so much that why Shiva did not respect me? How can he go against me? That his daughter is giving up her life for this reason, he doesn't care. Sati tried her best to mitigate the misunderstanding between the son-in-law and the father-in-law by coming to her father's house, even without an invitation. And at that time, Daksh should have received her forgetting all past misunderstandings. But he was so hard-hearted that he was unworthy to be called an Aryan or Brahmana. Thus, his ill fame still continues. Daksh means expert, and he was given this name because of his ability to beget many hundreds and thousands of children. So, after all, Daksh is a Prajapati, he has so many children. We'll hear later on as we continue with the Bhagavatam how he has so many 10,000 sons. First, he has 1,000, then 10,000, 100,000, so many children. So, that's why he's called Daksh, expert. Persons who are too sexually inclined and materialistic become so hard hearted because of a slight loss of prestige that they can tolerate even the death of their children. Does anyone else come to mind? The parent becomes so hard hearted that they don't care and they just
Hiranyakashipu.
yes,
Hiranyakashipu.
that's right. Yeah. Thank you. Because he was wanting so much to control and so much he wanted the power. So one son didn't listen to him, he wanted to kill that son. We can see, these qualities in Kali Yuga, the divine and the demoniac, they are within the same person. So we may have also such qualities and we can try to subdue them, try to introspect, pray to Krishna, please help me take away this quality, chant the holy name. Chanting in the holy name is the permanent way that we can get rid of these unwanted qualities. Vadati evam jane satya.
Vadati
Vadati evam jane
satya
satya.
Drishtva sutyagam adbhutam.
Dritva
Drishta
sutyagam
asutyagam adbhutam.
Daksham tat parshada hantum.
daksham tat
Daksham tat parshada
parshada
hantum.
hantum
Udattishtan uddayuddha.
Udattishtan
udattishtan
udayudaha.
udayudaha.
While people were talking among themselves about the wonderful voluntary death of Sati, the attendants who had come with her readied themselves to kill Daksh with their weapons. The attendants who came with Sati were meant to protect her from calamities. But since they were unable to protect their master's wife, they decided to die for her. And before dying, they wanted to kill Daksh. It is the duty of attendants to give protection to their master. And in case of failure, it is their duty to die. So this was the way of earlier times where if the bodyguard is not able to take care of the master, then they would kill and be killed. Yeah, but we should not indulge in killing. As Guru Maharaj said, we avoid. Tesham apatatam vegam
Tesham
Tesham
apatatam
apatatam vegam.
vegam
nishamya bhagavan briguhu
nishamya
Nishamya
bhagavan
bhagavan
briguhu
briguhu.
yagyagya ganena yajusha
Yajna ghanena yajusha.
dakshinagna juhavaha.
Dakshin
dakshinagno
agnau juhavaha.
bhavaha.
They came forward forcibly, but Bhrigu Muni saw the danger and offering oblations into the southern side of the sacrificial fire, immediately uttered mantric hymns from the Yajurved by which the destroyers of yogic performances could be killed immediately. Here is one example of powerful hymns in the Vedas, which, when chanted, could perform wonderful acts. In the present age of Kali, it is not possible to find expert mantra chanters. Therefore, all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas are forbidden in this age. So the mantras, they have power. Each mantra has a power. It's supposed to do something. Here we can see that Bhrigu Muni, he is chanting some mantras that is going to uh, that will stop the people who are destroying the sacrifice, and in fact kill them. But in this Kali Yuga, we do not have the qualifications to chant these mantras. That's the reason even Vedanta Sutra we are not supposed to chant. Why? Because we don't understand the meaning. We're just getting misinterpreting it. So what is the sacrifice for this age? The only sacrifice recommended in this age is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Why? Because in this age it is not possible to accumulate the needed funds for performing sacrifice, not to speak of finding expert Brahmanas who can chant the mantras perfectly. So we do not even have the Brahmanas who are going to chant properly the mantras, because the mantra is not that we just chant and it's just how we are reciting some poetry. Oh, yeah, I remembered it. I have such a good memory. No, it's not meant for that. It's supposed to bring about a certain result. What is the result of that sacrifice? And to perform these yagyas, it would be so expensive. You see, Daksh is calling how many demigods, and he has to give gifts and charity. People would give cows and gold and grains and jewels. A lot of funds were needed. We don't have that uh, those kind of what do you say paraphernalia to offer the sacrifice. Neither do we have the powers to chant these mantras. So we are recommended, okay, just chant the Hare Krishna mantra and go back home, back to Godhead. This chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is the Yuga Dharma for this age of Kali. Advaryona huyamane
Advaryo Vamane
Deva utpetur ojasa
Deva
Deva Utpetu
Ujasa
Ojasa
Ribhavo nama tapasa
Dibhavo
Vibhava Namo
Tasa
Tapasa
Somam prapta sahasrashaha.
Somam
Somam
Prapta
Prapta Sahasrashaha.
Sahasrashaha.
When Bhrigu Muni offered oblations in the fire, immediately many thousands of demigods named Ribhus became manifested. All of them were powerful, having achieved strength from Soma, the moon. So Bhrigu Muni, because Sati's bodyguards, her followers, they wanted to charge, they wanted to kill Daksh. So what Bhrigu Muni did? He immediately created these ribus so that they can fight the followers of Lord Shiva. It is stated here that many thousands of demigods named ribus became manifested because of the oblations offered in the fire and the chanting of the hymns from the Yajurveda. So Bhrigu Muni chanted the hymns from the Yajurveda. Brahmanas like Bhrigu Muni were so powerful that they could create such powerful demigods simply by chanting the Vedic mantras. So imagine, you chant a mantra and immediately you're able to create something by the power of the mantra. What comes to my mind is Durvasa Muni. How? He created a demon. Of course, he wanted to kill Ambarish Maharaj. But just seeing that how these Brahmanas used to have such powers. Vedic mantras are still available, but the chanters are not. So the mantras are there, the Vedas are there, but we do not have the qualified people who can chant these mantras. By chanting Vedic mantras or chanting the Gayatri or Rig mantra, one can attain the results one desires. In the present age of Kali, it is recommended by Lord Chaitanya that simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can attain all perfection. So, whatever may be our desire, we simply chant the Hare Krishna mantra and we will get perfection, the highest goal we can get, love of Krishna. We may be full of material desires, doesn't matter. We still chant the Hare Krishna mantra. We may have no material desires, doesn't matter. We still chant the Hare Krishna mantra. We may desire liberation, doesn't matter. Still chant the Hare Krishna. It is meant for each and every one of us. Ter alatya yuddhe sarve
Ter
Alat
alat
ayuddhe sarve
sarve
pramatha saha guyakaha
pramatha
pramatha
saha
saha
guya
guyakaha
hanyamana dishobheju
hanyamana
hanyamana
disho
dishah
bhejo
bhejo
ushadbir brahma tejasa.
ushaddi
ushaddi
brahma
brahmati
tejasah.
jasa.
When the Ribu demigods attacked the ghosts and the Goyakas with half-burnt fuel from the Yagya fire, all these attendants of Sati fled in different directions and disappeared. This was possible simply because of Brahma Tejas. What is Brahma Tejas? Brahmanical power. The word Brahma Tejas used in this verse is significant. In those days, Brahmanas were so powerful that simply by desiring and by chanting a Vedic mantra, they could accomplish very wonderful effects. By chanting mantras, they could just like Kardama Muni. He had so much power that he created a flying city with so many attendants and all very opulent. That is the power people had before. But in the present age of degradation, there are no such brahmanas. Sorry. According to the Pancharatrika system, in this age, the entire population is supposed to consist of Shudras because the Brahmanical culture has been lost. So in Kali Yuga, everyone is born a Shudra. And then we have to qualify ourselves to become Brahmanas. We have to undergo this process so that we can cultivate the Brahmanical qualities. But if anyone displays the signs of understanding Krishna consciousness, he should be accepted according to Vaishnava Smriti regulations as a prospective Brahman and should be given all facilities to achieve the highest perfection. So the Pancharatrika Vidhi says everyone is born a Shudra in this Kali Yuga. Even Bhagavatam says that. So, but what does the Vaishnava Smriti say? Vaishnava Smriti says that if we can see one is trying to become a devotee, one is trying to become Krishna conscious, then such a person should be encouraged and their Brahmanical qualities should be cultivated. They should be given the facility to cultivate the Brahmanical qualities. The most magnanimous gift of Lord Chaitanya's is that the highest perfection of life is available in this fallen age if one simply adopts the process of chanting Hare Krishna, which is able to bring about the fulfillment of all activities in self-realization. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purports of the fourth canto, fourth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Sati quits her body. So Lord Chaitanya, he's called Mahavadanyaya, most magnanimous. Krishna has come himself. Krishna has come as so many incarnations, but never as magnanimous as Lord Chaitanya. When Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya, he is the most compassionate, most magnanimous. Why? He's freely giving us love of Krishna. He's freely giving us the highest jewel, highest treasure that can be had by any living entity, and that is Krishna Prema, Prema Pamartha Mahan. He knows we have no qualifications. Lord Chaitanya knows what qualifications do we have. Our minds are disturbed. Just now we read, we are all born Shudras. We are quarrelsome, we are lazy, we have no good qualities. He knows, but yet he's giving us this highest treasure of Krishna Prema. We simply have to receive Lord Chaitanya's mercy, accept it, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, revive our eternal loving relationship with Krishna. Go back home, back to Godhead. Did anyone want to add or comment or anything? Oh, stop here.
But
Srimad
this was
Bhagavatam.
just a leela, right? This was just a leela. Otherwise, like we see that how fathers are so lovable to their daughters. Like how much they love this, because this was Krishna's leela. This had to happen, right? Or is it
Yes.
that if you are if you are so much proud that you're not able to see, I mean, then there are these situations also, right? Like
Yes.
as we mentioned, Hiranyakashipu and
Yes.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Yes.
So this is both.
Yeah. In modern times also we may come across some people that we, because of our desire, we are not able to see how much another person is going through or suffering.
Mm,
You know? Yeah.
mm.
And
So
what
Leelas are
surprises
there for
me,
us to learn. I'm sorry.
yeah, what surprises me is like the demigods were there and they didn't even
Yeah,
convince.
here in fact, that's what Bhrigu Muni, instead of saying,
Yeah,
"Oh my
you
God,
know,
what did Sati do?" He is
Yeah, he's
creating these
invoking.
demigods.
creating.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's invoking them. Yeah.
it's true. It's true what you said, and they were also scared of Daksh. That's why they didn't even greet her. And she's given up her life, and now they are, instead of saying, "Oh my God, what happened?" Everyone is ready to fight.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's true, as you say. It's very surprising. Very, very surprising.
Early.
Yeah.
I think this is, we say that ignorance, like how, like when we say that you pray to demigods, but then this shows that even they, they are sometimes inflicted with the situations and they're carried away and like,
Oh, yeah.
right? They
Okay.
are also carried away.
Yes.
The
Yes, we are going
reason
to
of
read
Sati
later how Indra. I'm sorry.
the reason of Sati giving up her body was to destroy the yagna that Daksha was performing.
The reason Sati wanted to give up her body was because she
No,
did
no,
not
no.
want to be
Not
related.
what she. Yeah, the Daksha's yagna would lead to some things which had to be stopped. So that was the ulterior motive or the final motive of her giving up her body.
When
She
we
was the
read
reason that.
We
Yeah,
read earlier that the reason she gave up her body was she did not want to be related to Daksh anymore. She did not want to have any bodily relationship with him. That's what
true.
we read earlier in the purports. That she was so upset that Daksh is being so blasphemous, he's being such a great offender. She doesn't want to be related to him. That was
True.
the reason. Yeah. Mhm. So, thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.